you're in for a ride. Bachelor mayhem, city lights glow. Wild adventures, let the good times roll.
Welcome back to Drunken Suits. My name is Will Kroboth, and I'm here with.
Bobby Carlson, how you doing?
Hey, let's go, Bobby. I'm excited to be back here. Today we got a fun one. Today we're going to be talking about Lake Winnipesaukee.
And
Yes.
if you don't know how to pronounce it, neither do I.
What's
a lot
your
of people call it
pronunciation?
Lake Winnipesaukee. I think that was pretty
And how do
good.
you pronounce it?
Well, I go by the abbreviation of Lake Winnie, but Lake Winnipesaukee.
Yeah, so Lake Winnie seems to be a pretty common nickname. Lake within central New Hampshire region, so northeast. The name, actually, fun fact for you, comes from the Abenaki language. And what is the Abenaki, you might be asking? It's actually
I
the
am.
Algonquin tribe's native language. So that's where the name comes from. It means smile of the Great Spirit. So cool little piece of information for you.
Smile.
Um, but otherwise, right, 72 square miles, 180 miles of shoreline, 258 islands within the lake. It's known for its really clear water. It experiences all the different seasons because you are in the Northeast. You get winter, summer, spring, and fall. And then some of the nearby towns. I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit. Meredith, Wolfboro, Alton, Guilford, Laconia. So just a little intro there. But Bobby, what else you got about the town?
Well, dude, I thought so crazy. You said all those islands. What was the number?
258.
258. So you're thinking we got this massive lake, right? It's about 21 miles end to end and about 9 miles across, and it has all these islands in it. But the deepest part of it is 180 feet.
I missed that one. What?
Yeah, like that's what I was shocked about. I was like, oh, I was thinking it's going to be pretty shallow for the most part because there's islands, there's going to be parts sticking up, maybe a lot of like what do you call them? Like not sand dunes.
Sandbars?
Sandbars. Yeah. How do I forget bars? Oh my god.
Yeah, come on
Love
now.
bars. Yeah. No, there's. I would be thinking there'd be that all the time, but it gets massively deep. Good fishing in there. There's fish up there. But with it being that deep, I did look up. You were saying the seasons, like you were singing it, by the way. Winter, summer, spring, and fall.
What
But
song is that?
all you have to do is call. I'll be there. God, I'm
Hey,
really good at singing.
don't quit your podcasting job here.
Yeah, getting paid bank on this. So, but for real, with it getting that deep and those seasons, the water takes so long to warm up. I don't know if you read that average temperature of the water and like when it gets warm. Did you look into that at all?
I didn't. It makes a lot of sense. But what is average temp?
So it's going to start getting, so it's like the summer solstice. When it gets to summer, it's going to start getting warmer. And we're coming from like the lower 60s at that time. Like when summer starts beginning, it's lower 60s. And at the 4th of July, you're getting that lower 70s, which is still usually a little, like people can jump
It's
in,
got a
but you're
little bit of
not,
a bite.
yeah, you're not like going in and enjoying yourself. By the time it gets to its peak, which is early August, the hottest the water is getting only is to its upper 70s, maybe 80.
Maybe 80. Wow.
Maybe 80. So upper 70s, maybe. And then
Wow,
it
that
starts
is cool.
going, yeah, then it starts going back down after that early August. And then once it hits like September, like the end of September, it starts plummeting. Like it's gonna, it's New Hampshire. Yeah, it's freaking cold up there. We're in the north, so take that as you want. I know we're coming in hot with that fact, The water is not going to be crazy for looking at what I found about it, water life does explode there, but it's going to be cold.
Hey man, it's a bachelor party, so you know what you got to do. Look, you're demonstrating right now. You just got to drink yourself a jacket. Then you're not going to care that it's a little cold.
I always
So
say it's warming from the inside out.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the solution right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, so I mean, dude, let's jump into it here. You were we're talking about water, right? It seems like you found the same thing, but boating, jet skiing, kayaking, paddleboarding, all that, your typical water sports seems to be a pretty big activity on the lake, going along with fishing and the fishing charters.
Yeah, yeah, I'm seeing all of that too. Even just island hopping or boat hopping, people like tying up boats together. It's all big out there.
Yeah. Gotta live a little flotilla. I mean, that just sounds like an
Flotilla.
awesome weekend, right? Like just a weekend on the lake. Who doesn't like to do that? Anybody who likes the outdoors sounds cool.
And this is a beautiful lake. I mean, looking at these pictures, it is gorgeous. Even the towns on the lake are gorgeous. You have a mountain right there. I mean, I know bachelor parties, you're not really going for the beauty of everything, but it is beautiful.
It is, and like you said, probably maybe not the typical thing, but it is always fun to sprinkle in some of these day activities. We usually like to start with the daytime activities, get into the more nighttime activities. So with the day, right, hiking, there's a lot of really cool hiking trails there. Maybe your group has maybe a lighter night before. You want to go out in the morning and rip a quick little hike. Um, I got Mount Major, Red Hill, Castle in the Clouds. Apparently, this has a really cool trail, and then it leads up to this real old Castle in the Clouds estate. Seems like a pretty cool experience. It sounded like varying levels of difficulty and duration, so you don't have to make it super long. Um,
Yeah.
cool, might be a cool little early morning daytime activity.
Dude, totally agree. I mean, with that being said, with the hiking, if your group's into that big outdoors, there's a ton of campgrounds too you could go on. If you guys are, setting up a tent, um, whatever it is, cutting dogs on the fire, which is awesome. This could be a real cool place. Now, with that being said, too, I wanted to say with the hiking, I mean, we're in New Hampshire. It's going to get cold there. Fall, a little bit of spring, and definitely winter. Definitely winter. But fall, they talk a lot on the website and a lot of research I did of just how beautiful it is. Main visitors come there during the summer, but fall's the next visited, and it's like the beautiful foliage. Again,
Yep.
it's a bachelor party. Are you going there because of the foliage? You know,
Yeah,
call
it's
that as it
probably not a
is.
selling point, but it's definitely a nice thing to have, right? You're there, might as well check it out. Make the stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but something else cool that I did find might be more kind of that bachelor party scene, and also out in nature is the zip lining and high ropes courses. That could be a fun one. What do you think?
No, I can't believe you took that from me. Yeah, no, I saw that a ton. That there's some trails that lead to really cool zip lines, and
Yeah.
I mean, hey, your bachelor party wants to do something they've never done before, or kind of get the adrenaline going in everybody during the day, getting the juices flowing. The zip line can be real cool.
Yeah, get the boys fired up. I could definitely see, I'm sure you got the one or two guys that are like freaking out and you convince them to go. Great stories, I'm sure, after about that.
Oh yeah, I mean the guy that's afraid of heights and is peeing himself on a zip line, and you see the trickle going down. I mean, come on, that's classic.
Dude, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so awesome. But there's a lot more to do on the lake too, and right
Yep.
around it too. So I mean, you had the hiking, the zip line. Um, did you look up golf at all?
A little bit. I had that down here. It seemed I didn't have a whole lot, so it seemed like there was kind of courses pretty much all around the lake, right? It's a big lake, so depending
Yeah,
on where you're at, you know, it seemed like there was still access to those courses. But the only one that kept popping up for me was the Ridgewood Country Club. Seemed like that was a popular spot. But what do you got?
I heard different. I looked at a couple different like Discord chats and different stuff about this lake, and I heard the public course. Don't come at me or sue me. I'm trying, people. I'm gonna call it Waukewan, Waukewan.
That's probably how I would pronounce it too.
Waukewan. I heard that's like one of the best public courses in the area around the lake, and one that usually doesn't fill up too much, where you can get a spot to tee off, kind of thing. It's not. It's a nice course,
like no
for it.
tee time competition. Real too bad of competition.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we're here to plan bachelor parties. We're out here thinking of ideas. If you're the one planning it to Lake Winnie and you want to go out there on the golf courses, call ahead, book that tee time. Do your due diligence. Don't wait last minute. We're just trying to give you the best advice here. Plan ahead and book ahead. Trying to do stuff last minute is never going to work. But it could work in this case. But again, just go, just think.
Think like the best man. Be the best man.
Be the best of the best men.
Oh man, you got anything else on the golf here, or I was gonna switch direction?
I was gonna give a shout out there just to the Waukewan.
I love it. Yeah, I didn't come across that, but I always love a good public course. It's
great. Yeah,
gotta help them out. Yeah, for sure.
Kind of look golf ready right now.
Yeah, I could see you teeing off and shanking it right out in the right.
Oh yeah, as long as there's water and trees, I'll be good. I'm picking the golf ball behind me right now.
All right, I'm going to switch directions. So, but I mean, sticking on the nature thing, something else. Winter time, right? So a lot of these activities we've been talking about so far are more conducive to the summer, fall, warmer temperatures. You decide you want to go during the winter, skiing. They got a bunch of mountains. Not a bunch, but they got a few mountains around it. It sounds like the Gunstock Mountain is probably going to be your most popular one, but you also have the Abernathy Ski Area and the Red Hill Ski Club.
That Gunstock Mountain is also where I heard the best zip line is.
Oh, perfect. There you go. 2 for 1.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know if you're doing that in the winter. I think it's 2 different, seasons.
Why not?
There.
Try to zip line down the ski lift. I think that would work great.
Yeah, I'm sure they would love that. Yeah, and I don't think it's a far off if you're staying on the lake. But again, do you have to stay on the lake in the winter? It's going to be iced over, and there's probably going to be snow. I don't know if you need to be staying on the lake because you can, kind of go closer to those mountains if need be. It's going to be snowing. Lake's going to be iced over. You need to be right on. Can be funny for a bachelor party. Everybody goes out, do a little skating around hockey or in your boots and wiping out and cracking some skulls, or you get closer to those mountains. But really, they're not far from the lake, which is real cool.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a kind of a cool hybrid location, right? You got this great lake here. You got some cool mountains, like pretty much right next door. It seems. Seems like a really cool opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I also found for some daytimes activities, talking about guns. The Belmont Firearms is a cool place. You can go rent some guns and go to the range and shoot them. Now, I don't know, maybe this is just my group and stuff. We're not versed in guns as much or like go out hunting or stuff. So maybe like a group that is going out hunting all the time, going to a fire range and shooting some guns, they do that already. But like for a group of that I would be a part of, that's something completely different from what I would be used to. So that'd be pretty cool. Like going out, shooting some machine guns or whatever, or some pistols, and having a little I'm very competitive, so I would make it a contest. You know, whoever's closer or whoever has the worst shot buys a round or something like that. So I think that'd be cool. But on the flip side, other gun, did you look at paintball guns? Did you look that up at all?
No, I did not.
Oh, you're missing out then. Real quick drive from the lake is the OSG fields, which isn't the largest paintball field in New Hampshire, but actually the largest in New England.
Whoa,
Yeah, and it's like a 30-minute
whoa.
drive from the lake.
So this is where your New England pro paintball players are going, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching some videos and I was getting kind of amped up. I was ready to be
Are they getting a
ducking
little two
behind.
tap? Boop, 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 boop,
Ba-da-da-da-da,
boop.
ba-da-da-da. Yeah, it's exactly right, dude. I mean, it's like, I mean, it's insane. But these courses that they're on, and you know, there's multiple courses all around. I didn't look up like the acres of it. I am not, uh, sponsored or anything like that. So I don't want to give them any too much, but it seemed like a really cool place to go, and I think a bachelor party would have so much fun paintballing.
Dude, that paintball is just like so much fun, in my opinion, to begin with. But like, throw it on a bachelor party, get with a bunch of boys that you're like having a great time with. Absolutely. And even if
Yeah,
not, it's a great bonding experience with like, maybe you don't know everybody on the party. You'll be best friends by the end of it.
yeah. And I would say if you're doing a paintball thing at a bachelor party, you got to send the gauntlet. Like everybody's in
What
a
do you mean?
row. Send the groom. Every single person. Send the best man. Yeah, like both you guys get a little bit rocked with paintballs. I
Get
think
lit
that'd be
up.
hilarious. Yeah.
That would be a good
Or
one.
or the bride comes out of nowhere and just and then leaves. She just has to get her shot in too. It's great.
Oh my god. Sounds like a nightmare, dude.
It does. That sounds. But also, could you imagine like if you're going like 2 weeks before the wedding, let's say, and you're going all paintballing? That's like your daytime activity during your bachelor party, and you know like one guy, one of the groomsmen or something, gets absolutely lasered in the leg. Huge welt comes up. Like this guy's probably the skinnier guy, not used to just getting hit with paintballs, has like a huge bruise still at the wedding. Every time you're like dancing, and just give him a little shot in the leg. And I mean, everybody's cracking up the whole night, right? Like, sorry, pain
He
is
might
funny.
not be.
No, he probably hates his life, but pain is funny. I mean, that's why, those different shows are out there. America's Funniest Videos or whatever for people like watching that stuff. People like doing that. Paintball could be a lot of fun at a bachelor party.
Dude, that actually is like a perfect segue. Pain, disarray, haunted attractions. Did you see any of this?
I did see some stuff, but I didn't think of it for a bachelor party. So I'm really curious of your spin.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, the one that I thought would be kind of cool, it was like a cruise where they go through and talk about all these supposedly, historically haunted fires, these hotels, these just like unsolved disappearances of people. A little
Mm.
like a cruise on the water. I guess you get some drinks on the boat. Could be kind of a cool little. It sounded like it was dusk time activity, maybe like a fun little pregame, or if your group's real into that haunted horror scene, it could be kind of a cool excursion.
For me, it's like you got to be in the right mindset for something haunted. Like you got to let yourself be scared, right? And I think like a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of like all the guys in it too, like that could be fun. I didn't think of that, but the when you say it, like especially like yeah, some drinks too and everything, pre-game something that can be real cool. Having
Yeah,
some weird local there just telling you about it too, it's great.
yeah. I think that's what they play into too. So I mean, it sounds kind of cool.
Well, then I also want to talk about. So you're talking about getting drinks during the day here. Now there's bars. Now bars can go, nightlife and daytime. There's daytime like bars and restaurants all over the place. So again, the lake is huge. There's multiple towns that border the lake, but even in town, there's these beautiful restaurants, beautiful cafes. I can't list all the restaurants out there. There's a ton that are on there. I definitely do have some notable bars for you that were open during the day. And the best one I heard about that was like, you want to try your luck at, getting with a girl, pretty much. Like the bachelor party gets the drinks feeling themselves, You know what I'm talking about. It's the Naswa Resort, Naswa, all uppercase. Again, not sponsored by anything. Just wanted to let people know that's what I read. People were saying that's like a cool thing. People going right off the beach, right up there to this like resort, nice bar and grill. The boardwalk is also a really cool place for the daytime. There's about a 1,300-foot walk, and with restaurants and different stuff, boardwalk esque for a lake, which is pretty cool,
Unique.
especially one that has such a winter being open there. Yeah. But I kind of have the list of bars I want to go into for nightlife more because I have like some different live music stuff going into it. But
Yeah, I want to jump in then before you switch over to that. Right, the one
100%.
other kind of more daytime one I saw was called the Dive. Full disclosure, I didn't look too much into it, but it looked like it was a swim up bar. So, some kind of lake access to this bar that you can just swim up to. Sounded cool.
Swim up bars, that's some of the best tasting beers.
Drinks in general.
God.
It just tastes better when you don't have to get out of the water.
You don't have to get out of the water. Oh my God, it's great. Segment, we're doing this later. What is the best bar? What is the best beers? Like not what's the kind, but like for instance, swim up bar beer.
That's
like
up there. Yeah,
we're having a segment on that. Just so you know, we're doing that later.
love it.
All right. No, yeah, that's a real cool one. Well, I guess this could be a segue into nightlife and restaurants and different stuff. But so again, I'm just reading some like different stuff that I'm seeing. This is our research, right? We're going to different chat rooms, going into different. What does Reddit say? What does those websites say? What were these reviews? Real cool thing I saw is this company called Mount Washington, and they have evening cruises that has bands on the boat. It has a bar on the boat and has dinners on the boat.
Sounds like an awesome evening.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, again, this lake is beautiful. The sunset on it. I think that'd be so cool.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah. And live music just hits different. You're drinking with the boys and you got some live music. It's great. It's great.
It is. I mean, dude, that might be another one of those beers up there. I'll hold it for that segment, but
Yeah.
live music beers.
I got your mind spinning on it now.
You do.
That's great. Well, so do you have much on the restaurants or anything going in? Because I don't have much on the restaurants.
No, that's all you. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
I have more of the bars and nightlife stuff, but the restaurants, there's places you can go up with your boat if you guys rent a boat. There's places you can drive to. There's a lot of things like if you go to a town, there's going to be restaurants in there, cafes. You can spend the time walking in that town.
yeah, and I think that's kind of one thing I also found was it doesn't seem like there's any premier restaurants like you have to go here, you have to go here. It was very much almost like more of that, just cabin vibes, right? You get a cabin with your buddies, your group, whatever, and you're gonna be eating there. But then you can go hit your bars, you can do your excursions, but like that's your home base, and a lot of activities are kind of surrounded by that. So I agree.
Yeah.
That's all the same thing.
Real cool. Well, then nightlife there though seems pretty fun. Definitely in the summer. Nightlife on the other times it's cold. It's freaking cold. But nightlife
It is the Northeast New England states. I mean, You got to know it's signing up for it if you're going in the winter. It's going to be cold.
And this is northeast of the Northeast. I mean, this is this is cold. So in the summer, there's a lot of these, restaurants. That's when they make their money. The tourists coming in, the bachelor parties coming in, and they open up, right? So they want to do it for the summer, which makes it pretty cool when you're visiting there in the summer. There's live music at so many of these bars. There's different versions of bars you could go to, different styles of that dive bar to, hey, this has like 3 different sections, an outdoor section. One thing I did notice is there is a motorcycle week, and I don't know if you saw that in any research, but there's a motorcycle week. I'm guessing a big. I didn't look into it too much because if your group is into motorcycles, check it out. But this motorcycle week, it could put a damper on a bachelor party that doesn't know that that's going on. So do your research when that with Lake Winnie. If you're planning the same time, just know that's there. Because if you don't know and you go there, but it's like all these bars are like,
Dude, I don't know. I mean, hold on. Let's not. I think bike weeks could be fun. I'm not a bike guy myself, but like, I've seen some videos, some events from them. They look pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. I bet you would have a great time at a bike week.
Tell me where I'm not having a great time. So. But in fairness, though, I'm just saying not every group maybe is thinking like, oh, I want to be hanging out with bikers all week during my bachelor party.
That's fair.
So,
I mean, goes back to do your
saying is,
research.
do your research. Yep, do your research. Because a lot of these bars, when I was looking into them, they're like, this is what we do in different events. During bike week, we do this. So it's just like, it was a known thing on almost all of their websites. But where does nightlife happen? Weirs Beach. I'm saying this Weirs, Weirs Beach, is where I was reading and everything. That's where the nightlife happens on this lake. Some of the bars that have live music or good times and different stuff going on is Tower Hill Tavern, Big House, Boardwalk Bar and Grill, Docks, DOX, Looney Bin, The Fancy, the Clubhouse, that Nassau Resort I was talking about, Saloon Corner, Surfside Burger Bar, which sounds so good taste-wise. And then these 2 I wanted to mention that are just on the lake. I don't remember where they exactly were, but the Broken Spoke Saloon and Patrick's are usually open later than what the closing time is. Just so you guys know, your bachelor party gets rowdy. Like, I don't want to stop at 2 a.m. Go there.
Yeah, Patrick's Pub. I kept seeing that one pop up over and over and over. That one seems like kind of a local favorite, or a people that frequent.
Saloon Corner, definitely a local favorite as well. The Clubhouse had some good reviews on it too, so those all seem very cool. But here's something that I also saw that I wanted to see if you saw. Did you see anything about casinos or strip clubs?
No, so also add in that category, right? Just like kind of dance clubs, party clubs. Hardly anything.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's a strip club anywhere closer than Boston. Dance club just doesn't really exist there, and casinos not really a thing. So if those are items that are on your must-do at this bachelor party, Lake Winnipesaukee might not be the place for you then.
Yeah, you're traveling for that kind of stuff. I kept seeing in the lake region. So there's I think it was 9 different lakes in the lake region, and they don't have casinos or strip clubs. I saw the strip club that's closest would be traveling to Portland or Portsmouth. don't know. I saw one review of a guy that said he went to Portsmouth for the strip club, and he said it was a waste of his time and a waste of his money, and I was like, dang, that's brutal. And he was like, and then he also said, I would have a better shot of seeing something at the Nassau Resort. So, hey, good luck at that resort. but that's something.
Yeah,
That's something for sure.
right. Yeah, I mean, that's not the vibe of this destination. Um, it's just something you got to know going into it.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude, one thing I want to get into a little bit here. How much more do you have on your nightlife list?
Nope. You got it.
Okay. Just one other thing I wanted to touch on before we, jump over to our interview with our guests today, um, is some of the cabins, right? So I was talking how like it seems like that's kind of the thing to do is get a cabin, get everybody together, maybe grab a bunch of food, grab a bunch of beers, some booze, and just like have some fires, some hanging out there, right? I was looking into the prices a little bit, about kind of the prices you would expect for a vacation spot. It's not necessarily going to have a lot of cheap options. I mean, obviously, there's things you can do uh, to find some cheap options, right? You consider your location and proximity. Are you going to be on the lake? You could be a little removed. Time of year also is a big factor in a lot of these Airbnbs, VRBOs, whatnot. Uh, and then the amenities that this cabin or house might have. If it has a fire pit, if it has a pool, if it has this, that, and the other. But I mean, all that to say is like there are tons of them, right? There are lots of options, and you can get anything from a super bougie vacation spot to just kind of a normal house, right? You make do with it, but it just seems like the cabin is the way to go here.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I thought I missed it, and then I just was gonna just keep rolling. But I had many in caps with an underline rentals for 10 plus waterfront. So, guys, if you're going on a bachelor party, it's made for these renting, get right on the lake. The nightlife is there. The daytime, there's activities, but you're with your boys. If you want to spend it at these places, waterfront, it's not a bad gig either.
No, I mean it sounds. Who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to spend a couple hours with the boys just hanging out, messing around? I don't know. That sounds great.
Well, let's hear from someone that actually did it.
I love it. Yeah, let's kick it over. We got an interview lined up here with Max, so we'll catch you over there. All right, so we got Max here. Max is going to tell us about his bachelor party story. So, Max, where did you go on your bachelor party story here?
How's it going, guys? We made our way up to Lake Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire. A nice little boys' weekend bachelor party.
All right. And so, just tell us a little bit of background, right? What time of year did you go? Who was it for? Roughly how many people did you have?
100%. So it was my brother's bachelor party. This was last April. So it was a little chilly up in New Hampshire, but we were trying to squeeze it in, make it work. About a month before the wedding, we had a crew of 6 or 7, mix of his buddies from high school and college. There was definitely some concern as to the meshing of the group, but I'm sure we'll get into all the details.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's awesome. 6 or 7, that's a pretty solid group. Well, I really want to know, you're the best man. You're planning out this trip. How did you pick Lake Winnie?
It's kind of a funny story. So I was not sure kind of the vibe he wanted. It's my older brother. He's like 3.5 years older. I was torn on what to do. He and I are super tight, but we're also quite different folks. So I was trying to kind of gauge the vibe he wanted for the weekend. And so I kind of subtly had pitched him over the course of a few months on a couple different ideas. One being a Montreal weekend. That's like not too crazy of a drive for us here in the Northeast. I pitched
Yeah.
like a um, coastal kind of Connecticut because that would be equidistant drive for everybody involved. Um, Lake weekend up in Winnipesaukee, and then I was like, there's no way he would ever pick this, but I subtly pitched a 24 hours in Paris. We take a red eye in, 24 hours red eye out weekend in Paris. Um,
Dang.
Unfortunately,
That's
that was not the
wild.
one, but could have been. Could have been.
I like the ambition though. I mean, two different countries pitched there, and then two different spots in America. I like that. I like that a lot though.
So I guess just before we hop in too far, right? That decision process, right? Was that just mostly talking to your brother, or was that getting everybody involved, seeing, what are the different factors in play here, like cost, scheduling, and all that, or is it really just your brother's decision?
Yeah, I wanted to get his take. I figured if we were doing something crazy like 24-hour weekend in Paris, that would be a smaller group, or like knowing the cost, it was going to change the plan for sure. Um, and I figured maybe I'd have to kick in or whatever, like if needed to make it happen. But obviously, it's my brother, love him dearly, and wanted to do whatever we could do. Like if it was going to take me to pick up a couple tabs, I wanted to make that happen.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Love
that's
it.
huge. I mean,
Love it.
that's cool of a best man too, picking up some tabs, knowing that, and especially when it's your brother. I like that.
All right, so I guess do we just want to hop into this. Give us a rundown of the weekend.
Let's do it. So yeah, I had talked to the guys. It was funny. Also, I was like, just with my unfamiliarity with Bachelor weekends, my first time attending and also my first time planning one, I uh, I had started like planning it in the fall. It was like 6 months out. I was like texting the guys, being like, "How does this weekend work?" Which, in hindsight, obviously nice that everyone could make it work and like we locked it in early, but we absolutely did not need to. It was like another 3 or 4 months before I even like got the next detail down besides the date. Um, but everyone was able to make it, so that worked out nicely. And everyone took like the Friday off from work. There's a couple guys in Boston, a couple guys like upstate New York and New York City area. Um, so it was everyone coming in from a little bit of a different avenue. Everyone took the day. We met up in Meredith, New Hampshire. There's like a whole handful of towns on Winnipesaukee because it's a pretty sizable lake. Meredith is, I think, southwest corner. Nice little town there, very like New England vibes. Um, Met up at a brewery there midday, early afternoon Friday. Made our way. We got a
Perfect.
house by the water.
What a perfect way to meet up with everybody is meet
Uh,
at this brewery.
it was
That's great.
awesome. It was awesome. One of the guys too was a lawyer, and his like just the way it worked out. He was like working in the car on the drive up, um, and then we're sitting at the brewery. He's like, "I'm still on the clock." Just everybody was just having a good time. It was nice. Good way to kick it off. And basically, we got a house that was maybe like 20 minutes from town, where we could walk down to the water. It was a good setup. We ended up spending way more time at the house than I had anticipated, but um, I think the guys all hadn't seen each other in a while. Obviously, being like college, high school friends of his, so I think they were really excited to just get some quality time hanging out, drinking beers at the house. Did bonfire, a little cornhole, that type of stuff. Um, and meanwhile, I was having a great time, but I was like, we got to get moving if we're gonna get this party started. Um, but it was nice. It was honestly like way more refreshing, a little bit more laid back. Everybody kind of chipped in. A couple people brought some food. Some people brought drinks, and we made a bit of a potluck out of that. And then nice little Saturday night crown jewel. It was Celtics and Bruins both in the playoffs, and I would say most parties involved had rooting interest between fandom and gambling. So it was a good time. We hit one of the bars in town, watched the games, had a nice time there.
Did you guys cook up a little group parlay?
Honestly, that was good banter. I can't honestly say we landed on a nice 9-legger, but
Mm.
it was nice banter over a couple of ice cold Coors Lights.
Perfect.
Love it.
So-
So you said this is Saturday night, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Friday was meet at the brewery, hang out, do the potluck, or was the potluck Saturday?
Little bit of both. So one of the guys
Okay.
is like big, has like a smoker, and he made like mac and cheese and ribs. Brought that. Like everyone kind of went balls to the wall in terms of like bringing stuff. So Friday night we did the initial potluck, but obviously tons of leftovers. Basically lasted us more or less the whole weekend. I like brought a cooler, a couple cases of beer. A couple different guys brought like some whiskeys and whatnot. And I didn't know before, but learned from them. It's tradition, I guess, that at the end of the weekend, the groom takes everything remaining. So my brother ended up going home with a nice trunk full of like Japanese whiskey, bottomless amount of beers that were left over, and some good chow.
Max,
Oh, I like that.
it's hard for me to hear that though. You guys aren't finishing beers. Like what's going on?
You should have seen how many there were when we started.
All right, fair enough. I
It was
wasn't there to
good
start.
planning by the best man.
Yeah.
We were well overstocked for a 2-night adventure.
That's way better than being understocked. So
No doubt.
hats off to you, Max.
It would have been
So
like
Max-
we could have lasted like it was like The Last of Us over in that house. We could have been posted up.
That's perfect. So Max, you got plans. You wanted to be going out. You wanted to, have people bringing stuff. How many hours of planning did it take to get into like the weekend?
It was probably quite a bit, I guess, over that sort of 6-month runtime, or like prep time rather. But I'm a big planner. I don't really. I'm like in all phases of life. Like I'll do quite a bit, probably too far in advance, and then go into it just the last second. I go, none of it matters. We'll just fly by the seat of our pants and figure it out. So I probably spent a good 5 or 10, if not like well over that, hours over the course of 6 months planning. And then like week of, I was like, doesn't matter. Everyone knows what they need to do. All we have to do is execute.
Awesome. That's awesome. So you spend a lot of time on the lake. Did you guys, like get a boat or anything like that? Go out on the lake?
Would have loved to, since it was preseason. For there, it's like it's still pretty chilly. I had tried to rally the troops at the end of one of the nights that we should jump in the lake, but sadly, no one was biting that one.
That's when you carry the groom out there, your brother.
Yeah.
You just
Sort
throw
of.
him in, right?
Yeah, that's a tough sell. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I have been known to do so in the past, but sadly, I couldn't spread that joy to the rest of the gang.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
man.
And so the town you were in, you said it's like a Boston vibe.
Yeah, very not maybe Boston in particular, but like very Cape Cod, like proper New England town. Um, so it was just like, and New Hampshire is also kind of an odd state. Anybody who's like familiar with New Hampshire and Vermont, they're very different, but also like quite unique. New Hampshire, they're like it'll be a guy with like an open carry, and he'll have like a Grateful Dead T-shirt. It's like an odd collection of characters up in those parts of the world. So like the vibes in the town is like kind of hilarious. Like dude parks his Harley out front, and he's wearing like tie dye. So yeah, a lot of characters, good time. If you can picture that sort of like I'm trying to think of like a pop culture reference, but a lot of guys who sound like Jeremy Renner in The Town.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely a fun spot.
Oh, that's cool. So
That's real cool.
you said a lot of people coming from New York, coming from Boston. Do you know roughly how long it took to get, from those cities to Winnipesaukee?
Yeah, I would guess the New York. My brother and one of the guys coming from New York. They probably took the longest. It was probably like, if I had to guess, close to 5 hour drive. Um, maybe maybe closer to four, somewhere in there. It was about um, at least like three and a half for me. The Boston guys maybe two and a half.
That sounds perfect to me. I mean, it sounds like you found a perfect spot. Everybody, it's not like you're excluding people. Yeah, if you're going to Montreal or Paris, some people aren't making that trip, but you found a perfect spot that kind of got the whole group there.
It worked out well, yeah, and definitely with like guys who live in the city, I had to be careful not to do something where if they weren't mobile, like some of those guys don't have cars, um, kind of help like shepherd carpools, which some did for sure, which worked out nicely. There was no problems at all, but had to be mindful of it for sure.
Absolutely. And now you said it was like 6 or 7 people, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Would you do you recommend that amount? Do you think less, more? Is that the sweet spot?
that was a good number. I would definitely not recommend less. I think in my mind, probably 10 is like a 8 to 10 feels like a golden number. We if we were seven, it was fine, but later in the night, one or two start to fade. One of the guys had um, a kid, like they're all a little bit older and sort of in a more adult phase of life. Me being the younger brother, a little bit more like mid 20s, less adult. I will put it as. Um, and Yeah, so I think a couple more, maybe you keep the fire raging a little longer. But even so, like we had a great time, and I think everyone was. It worked out well. We were all kind of on the same level of how much shenanigan we were trying to get into.
How close was this weekend to the actual wedding?
It was a month before, almost
Month
exactly.
before. Okay, yeah, I like that. Nobody's going too crazy then and still feeling sick or sunburnt at the wedding.
No, yeah, luckily not.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I didn't also know much about Lake Winnipesaukee. I'm going to mess that up the entire time. So Lake Winnipesaukee. I didn't know much about that before we met you. Um, you've been there prior than the bachelor party though.
I had, yeah, probably not more than 7 or 8 times before. Just growing up like a big New England guy, we were always popping around. I think my mom's from Vermont, so very familiar with the area. A lot of extended family in New England all around. So um, I yeah, definitely know my way around those corners.
Perfect. So if you knowing what you know now, and you had to redo a bachelor party for your brother, are you still picking the same lake, and are you like doing any different events there?
I think the only thing I would have done differently, it would have been nice to get like one more coordinated event in, whether that was like a boat to your point before, like that would have been cool, or something a little bit more like structured to so we actually like went out and did it one more thing. Everyone else, I think had a great time. There was like no notes from the other guys. I think they loved it. My brother was just thrilled with how it went, and it was exactly like the low key weekend he was looking for. Um, for my own like vanity, I think it would have been fun to like put together something like really memorable, like going out on a boat. Um, but honestly, other than that, no. Maybe a month later, if the wedding was like a summer wedding, and we could have done it in warmer months, that would have been awesome. But certainly, it didn't
Yeah.
didn't come back to bite us or anything. That it was the end of April, and it was a little chilly.
And it sounds like you did, a really good job of thoroughly thinking through. Um, Obviously, you know your brother really well, but something we've been talking about is like matching the bachelor party and the vibe that you're trying to get out of it to the groom, right? And it sounds like, just from what you're talking here, that you did a great job of marrying those two things.
For sure. Yeah, you always have to be careful balancing what you want with what they want. So yeah, wanted to make it, it's his moment, not mine. So tried to yeah, be as careful as possible on that front.
Awesome. All right. With that being said, I'm gonna be a little selfish. Big snowboarder, and I know Bobby's a big skier. I saw there's a couple mountains around. First of all, do you ski or do you snowboard? And if you do, how are those mountains?
I am not a winter sportsman. I hate to tell you. I hate to break it to you, but
it's all right. I forgive you.
I can say from having lived in Boston for a long time, most everyone else in the city is a skier or snowboarder, and the mountains are pretty serviceable considering the proximity to a major city. But out west, different animal. Doesn't compare to anything out west for sure.
Nothing in the Northeast will.
Sadly not. Yeah.
But real cool. I mean, yeah, having mountains right there, that could be something, off the lake, doing that. On the lake, there's a lot to do. And then I didn't even know about the town you were saying. That's that's really cool. I think you found a real cool spot for a bachelor party.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I was just glad it all worked out.
So
one last thing here. All right.
Yep.
So the big important question: did the Celtics and the Bruins bets hit?
I can confirm bets were hit. Celtics in particular. That was I think more guys were motivated by NBA than NHL, and so Celtics got the lion's share of the attention. And that was one of the games, if I remember correctly, they beat Miami. It's like either, what was that, second round maybe, beat Miami by like 30. So it was a good one.
How'd you not go in the water then? People are hitting
bets.
Dude. Boys are getting rowdy. How do you not go in the water? Are you kidding me?
I was trying to make it happen.
I would have been first person in. I was there, Max.
He's not lying too. He wouldn't even need convincing. He would just do it on his own.
Yep. I wouldn't care if anybody was coming with me. It'd be like the Will Ferrell streaking down the road.
Maybe that's the best part.
All right, Max. Well, hey, listen, I really appreciate you coming on, joining us.
We need him to give a rating. We need to get a rating.
How could I forget?
Yeah, come on. So, Max, what we do for each city, I want you to kind of give me a little breakdown and then a rating, 1 to 10, and give me that, point whatever. What would you rate Lake Winnipesaukee for a bachelor party?
That's a tough one because it's not everybody's sort of style, like a lake weekend. I can imagine a good chunk of people being interested in like a Vegas weekend or a New York City. If you're not from the area, maybe that's a nice little getaway vacation. So, I would aggregate 2 scores. I would say it's probably a 2 out of 10 for someone who wants the Vegas style, like pomp and circumstance. But it's probably a 10 out of 10 for someone who's a little bit like less of a going out social creature. I think I would aggregate that, probably put it at like a 6 out of 10, like objectively. Personally, I think it's closer to that 8 or 9, but to be fair, it's a bit of an obscure spot.
Dude, I mean, that's like more fair than I've ever heard right there. You're calculating in everybody's different bachelor parties and different bachelor party styles. That's what we're trying to do here on the podcast. So I appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
But I like that. So the averaging it out to 6 out of 10 for Lake Winnipesaukee. Okay. All right, man. Max, that's pretty good.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love it. Is there anything else you want to add, about Winnipesaukee or just bachelor parties in general?
Yeah, what should a viewer know about being a best man, about the lake, about anything?
Um, Most important part of being the best man is the speech, in my opinion, at the wedding bachelor party. You have a little bit more leeway. Things don't have to go according to plan. It's obviously nice when they do, but since it's just you, the groom, and the fellas, you can kind of freeball it a little bit better. Um, I definitely feel like in front of the bride's parents and the extended family and the people you don't know, that that 90 seconds or whatever you end up doing for the speech at the wedding, I feel like that's what you really got to kill. That's the tough part.
Respectable though. I like that. That's something I haven't even thought about. So it's a good call.
Yeah, I guess it's not always all fun and games. You gotta take some good responsibility as the best man too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, one beer before your speech, not more, not less. One drink or one beer before you give your speech.
Right in the sweet
Okay.
spot.
Yeah. Pro tip.
Yeah. Well, Max, man, I so much appreciate you giving some advice here, talking about your experience and how you were a best man for your brother here. Sounds like you picked a great spot for a bachelor party, Lake Winnipesaukee. Wow, dude, I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep messing it up. I like the shorting. I see that they keep calling it Lake Winnie, so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna keep calling it Lake Winnie on here. But it sounds like a great spot, man, and you did a great job on here, and I appreciate it so much.
Hey, pleasure's all mine. Glad I could be here, and this was fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Max.
That was awesome. Oh, dude,
Dude,
let's hear it from
loved it.
Max.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Max crushed it. I loved his his analysis and his take on the bachelor party weekend.
Yeah, I mean, to pick there. So I know he went there prior to the bachelor party. That's somewhere he knew, which makes it nice. But what an ambition on Max. I mean, just in the beginning of that interview, he was looking to go to Paris. He was looking to go to Canada. He was also looking to go in different places on the East Coast. I mean, I wouldn't say he settled, but it definitely got drawn back from Paris.
No. I mean, so yeah, to your point, absolutely. Paris to Lake Winnipesaukee is much different.
Way different.
But
Yeah.
I think it's a big testament to Max, right? Doing his planning and knowing his groom, right? He knew his brother, he knew what he wanted, he knew what the guys he was bringing with wanted. So just being prepared, doing the prep work, and really thinking, okay, what's going to have the best time for the groom and for everyone there. I think that's what it
Yeah.
came down to.
I mean, it's
Um,
such a big thing, too, when you think about the travel going, like all the guys that are coming from x miles away or x hours away, and they can stock their car with food, they can stock their car with things. If anybody's flying, you can't really do that. We just talked about these other in our other episodes that these extravagant ones, you're flying there, you're paying for every meal, you're paying for all the drinks there. It's a very different case when you get to travel there.
yeah, and one cool thing, right, about that, and one that they featured on theirs was that potluck. I really love that idea. I think that's so cool
Perfect.
because you know, first of all, you can save a ton of money by buying all this stuff beforehand. It's almost the event in itself, making it with everyone, and then you also have tons of food throughout the weekend. So when you're drunk or you're hungover or you just want a snack, right? You got a ton of good food at the house that you can grub on.
I gotta say this. I think that's an older thing. Like
I like it.
somebody. No. I love it. I love it. I'm saying like an older group or like a more mature group, because I know like a thing my college used to do was after the semester and everybody went to Myrtle Beach, and we did that long drive and everything, and we never even just thought of meals. It was more like, all right, let's go to the liquor store, let's get a beer, let's do this. And then it was like, I got to eat something today, and we don't have any food in the house. We don't have any food. It's like you have to go find it yourself and go fend for yourself. And it's like that older, mature group is like, all right, what are we doing for meals? How do we plan that out? Let's all just bring stuff because that's going to be cheaper. It's going to be easier. it's really good planning too, having it that close to everybody where they can do that.
Yeah. And just one other thing too regarding that being able to drive there as opposed to flying. Another cool tradition that I hadn't heard of was the bachelor. I'm sorry, the groom taking all of the alcohol back with him. I thought that was fun.
That's a
Like I
lot.
hope the goal. I hope the goal is that there won't be any left. But if there is some left, or if there's like some nicer ones that you give almost kind of as a gift, I thought it was kind of cool. A little nod to him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said on the interview, it hurts a little bit to hear that people can't finish everything, but I understand. I mean, if you overpack everything and hey, I'm going to bring 3 cases, and the next guy's thinking the same thing, I get it. I get it. 3 days
Yeah,
and
you'd rather have way more than not enough. I get that.
100%. Um, but I feel like Max, it was impressed me with never being on a bachelor party and never planning one to like using his resources and understanding what it took to make this. Luckily, he had a lot of time. Um, he knew about a year out of the list and everything. He talked to everybody. And once he got that, everybody was willing to help him with planning different stuff, making sure everybody was good, kind of thing. I was like, that was like a pro planning move right there of getting the potluck in there, getting the alcohol secured before the trip, and not getting there and being like, ooh, we needed to go do this now. So I
Yeah,
thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, I had that point too, right? Like, I think I can really kind of resonate with him because I love to plan things ahead, and he did say, this might have been even too premature, but I mean, honestly, I think that might be why. Like, you can always. It doesn't hurt to be earlier on it because all right, it just makes logistics. People block off their calendars earlier. You save money by booking things earlier. You just get the stress of like having to worry about X, Y, and Z out of the way early. So I mean, I love that he brought that up. I like that a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I actually have written, get it on the books.
Yes, yes, dude.
Yeah.
Um, I guess another thing he did talk about was the diversity in the groups of people that are here. I think I'm not going to get too much into it. I think we're going to talk about that on our next segment here, on our Bachelor Brainstorm segment. But it's something cool to think. I wanted to give him the shout out. We'll talk about it a little bit more after. But, kind of relating to that also is just having the flexibility. So this isn't in direct relation to the people, but this could apply to everyone, right? I think it's kind of cool to have um, if you can make your plans as flexible as possible where this is what we have kind of the thought this is what we're going to do today or for the weekend, but the guys are having a good time, we decide we don't want to do it. I think that's ideal, right? You go with the flow, let it happen. But if you have something planned, so it's not just like you're sitting there and you're like, okay, now what do we do? Have a plan, but be ready to pivot.
Yeah. I mean, it all comes from that planning, right? And I think we talked about that with Mike on that first episode of what does it take, that mitigation, crisis mitigation, all of that stuff of like planning the unplanned, right? Knowing that things could go askew, getting a group of guys that are drinking to get in a car and go somewhere. That's all really tough things to do. Or if one guy's like, oh my God, we got to go to this bar. It sounds great. And, he hypes it up. It might be hard. Like, oh, I had this plan to do this. Like, it's okay. It's okay. And I like that he said, the bachelor party is not the main thing. It's your speech as a best man. I thought that was funny. Like the bachelor party is just for fun. Get the guys going. But that comes in that planning, understanding what the guys want, understanding, who you have there. Do they want the clubs or is every guy going to be there going, oh my God, I can't do another club. Get me out of here. This sucks. Or like, it's, you got to understand everything. And I think Max did a great job of understanding what does the lake have to offer to what do the guys want.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And kind of to that point, right? If you maybe as the best man aren't real good friends with every single person in this bachelor party, I don't hate the idea of what kind of Max did, having that first night be a little bit more chill, just kind of let everybody in the group maybe bond, meet each other, have some drinks, keep it casual. But I mean, on the flip side too, if you all are best friends, right, there's a benefit of keeping it casual that first night. Okay, we haven't seen each other in forever. Let's just hang out and talk and catch up and just like, shoot the shit.
Yeah, and even just going hard at night on a bachelor party, that's tough. Like, you have events planned on the days, or you want to go. I mean, we beginning of this episode, we talked about all this day stuff. You want to go golfing, you want to do any of this stuff. If all your guys are sitting there in the morning like zombies, that's brutal.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta balance it, right? It's not you're not in college anymore. You're gonna have a hangover.
Yeah, wish I was. College is great. Well, then Max gave a rating for Lake Winnie a 6 out of 10. Now, he gave a little breakdown of why, and he gave his personal one was probably an 8 or 9 out of 10, but that's too biased, he said, for a bachelor party, 6 out of 10. What's your take on that? Do you like that? You don't even have to give me your rating right now if you don't want. But what's your take, 6 out of 10, and after like what he said about it? Where are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, first, got to start off by shouting Max out for his honesty and just like objectively great analysis.
So
like
honest. So
that's
honest.
crazy. Appreciate it, right? It helped, kind of helped us do our job a little bit. But I completely understand where he's coming from. I know you and I both kind of enjoy both of those roles in the sense of like maybe a more laid back setting, but also would love to have the party setting. We both like that. So I don't want to give my rating yet, but I think his objective analysis was actually quite accurate.
Yeah, I feel like he breaks it down like we did. I mean, it's not just his bachelor party, but it's every bachelor party. Is it seasonal? Does it have everything does it offer everything a bachelor party would want in the different routes, It's like, dang Max, like you know what you're talking about. Like you listen to our podcast or something, It's all right, well dude, let's get into it. Give me the analysis of your rating.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I said, I think Max, kind of hit it pretty spot on. I'm gonna give it a 6.7. So,
Okay.
I don't know. I think one of the big things for me, I don't really like the cold anymore. So, all the besides the summer, I don't know. It doesn't sound that
For anyone
appealing.
that doesn't know, he is Mr. Florida now. This dude was like, let me go snowboarding. I'm good. Loves a good snow day. And now he puts on a winter coat when it's 60 degrees.
Yeah, I got a little thin skin now when it comes to the weather. So that brings it down a little bit for me, but not too far because it does have a lot to offer. I think, especially during the day, I kind of going through it. I was like, this would be actually a pretty killer vacation, especially if it was like a family vacation. It sounds like a great time. Good amount to do. Lake seems beautiful. A lot of cool variety in kind of the terrain that you can experience. So I'm gonna put it at a 6.7. Price, we didn't really get too much into it. It didn't seem like it was overly expensive, but it didn't seem like it was overly cheap. It's kind of middle of the road. So for me at least, that didn't really play in too much. Location wise, might bring it down just a tad. It seems like it might be a bit difficult to get to if you're not within driving distance or part of that kind of New England area. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna go. Let's hear your take.
That's way off from what I was thinking. I'm actually rating this one pretty low. I feel
Okay.
like you're the hard critic, but I'm giving this a 5.1.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is beautiful. And what you said a little bit about this could be like a great family vacation, I agree. And I don't think it's there for the bachelor parties. Um, Again, I don't want to get into our next segment, but I want to emphasize that this nightlife is there, but you're getting some weird crowds, like he said. The water, you want to do like an all day water lake event. There's lakes that are warmer and you can go way longer in the season and more people know about and go there. This is probably kind of like off the map to anybody that's not in that northeast section kind of thing. So it's not like you're getting that younger crowd all the time. I think this is a family vacation. Yes, there's things to do, but again, it's just your guys doing it. Um, I know we said the casinos and strip clubs were kind of far away, which doesn't have to be a thing, but it's like, what else did we not look up that's also far away? Right. So it's like, I don't know. There's restaurants and stuff. I was going to say, like, get a slice of pizza, but there's plenty of restaurants up there. Good pizza, too, because that's the Northeast. Good pizza in Northeast. I just, and it gets so cold up there. And I don't think most bachelor parties would go here. I think actually 5-1 might be generous for it because I think most bachelor parties would not want this. I think it's a very select group that would want Lake Winnie over another lake, even. So I'm going to say
Interesting.
I actually might change. I think I'm going 4.6. 4.6.
Whoa.
I think
Whoa.
I know because I think really when I'm thinking about it more and more, if you're thinking the majority of bachelor parties, what they want, or like even like a bachelor party that wants everything Lake Winnie has to offer, I think they might go, unless they live close, they might go to probably a different lake. So I think there's other
Okay.
lakes, other bodies of water that have everything that Lake Winnie has. Might be a little bit warmer and might be everything they have a little bit more. So I'm 4.6.
I respect it. Maybe you might have to take the title of harsh critic away from me, man.
Yeah, I even went down during saying it. That's I feel bad, but hey, anybody from Lake Winnie has a crazy story or something better, let us know because I'm all for it. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Nope. Totally agree.
Well, and also, I mean, this lake, I feel like kind of is maybe for that older crowd, which is a segment into oh my gosh, which is a transition. What am I trying to think of? A segue.
Let's jump over.
A segue into our next segment of Bachelor Brainstorms. This is our first topic, the first time doing it on the podcast. So this segment topic, I want to talk about the age of the party. Like, when does the party change? Like, how I wanted to kind of frame this is, the 23-year-old going on a bachelor party to the 33-year-old going to a bachelor party to the 43-year-old's bachelor party. It's so different. The average age for a man to get married right now is 30.5.
Okay.
So you're thinking upper 20s, maybe your early 30s, right around, I would say, if you're averaging at 30.5, that means you have your outliers, but Maine are falling into that 26 to 34 range, right?
Yeah, and I think that's why this is going to be such an interesting topic here to talk about, is because I would imagine that is right around that transition period where you're going from the Miami bachelor party, like we talked about with Dan, um, to more of a Lake Winnipesaukee laid back and chill bachelor party. So I mean, I'm interested to see what you think. What do you think that age range or age itself is?
Now let me make sure I got you right. Are you saying that age range for Lake Winnie?
No, I'm saying the age where it transitions from
Oh,
let's
from
go
the
crazy party to let's
clubs.
do more of the chill bachelor party.
Hmm. I would say if the average age for people getting married is 30.5, I'm going to guess the average, just this one's a guess, the average age people have kids is 32. Just taking a
Okay.
guess again. And that might be for men, 32. I don't know. So I'm going to guess that 32 and older is when it really changes because you start having people in your group that like have kids and have a family and don't want to go crazy, don't want to end up arrested, don't want to do those crazy things or just thinking about hooking up. So your group dynamic might be different when you're 23 and stuff and everybody's, single or just a girlfriend and they don't really know what's happening. Could it get kind of crazy? I think
Yeah.
guys,
So
yeah, I don't know.
what came to my mind when this topic came up, there was three things, like three factors really that I thought would kind of really sway it. You touched on one with the kids. I think that's massive, right? You had that just a completely overwhelming sense of responsibility, which totally makes sense. Other would have been just being married, kind of alluded to that too. Married or like serious relationship, right? That changes kind of the dynamic and probably venues that you want to go to. But the other one, hangovers, right?
Ooh, didn't
That's
even cross my mind.
gonna be
Yeah.
a big factor. Comparing 23 to 43, that hangover is gonna be way different, um, and
Yeah.
you're gonna get less motivation to want to stay out all night when you're 43. So that's why I'm thinking. I guess you went 32. I'd say I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I would say that transition points. I'll go nice and even. Say it's at like 30, just 30, right around that same time period.
But then speaking like that too, with the wife and kids, it's like, are these guys, this is their time to get out. This is their time to go crazy again and act like they're 23 again. Is this, I think that really differs between the guys, but it's like, I think that, yeah, it really depends on who that person is. Because I could see guys like, this is my time. Don't text me. My phone is off. I'm going crazy.
Reliving the glory
Or,
days.
yeah, reliving the glory days. Exactly. Or it's their time of, I'm not trying to be arrested or on the news or this isn't who I am anymore. It could really differ between those guys.
It could, and the other thing that plays into that too is how closely intermingled are the bachelor party members. Not just their relation to the best man, but like those guys together without the best man. Are they good friends before? Is it all just a massive group of buddies? Versus are these a lot of the best? The groomsman's individual friends that he's just bringing along?
Yeah.
So,
Dang.
I mean,
It's, I
hey,
mean,
that's why it's called the brainstorming segment, right? We don't know the answer. We're just throwing ideas out there about an interesting topic, right?
if you guys face this or you feel like you hit that point of things are just different now, leave a comment or let us know because we want to hear about it. But on that note, I just want to thank everybody for listening. Thanks everybody for joining us, and I can't wait to keep going.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Golly.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
It's the last hurrah before the big day. Stories run wild in the craziest way. From Vegas nights to the beach town vibes. We're laughing or party, you're in for a ride.